tell you about America's best kept secret. It's called the National Monument to the Forefathers, and it's located in Plymouth, Massachusetts. I have done some research on this monument, and the research suggests that the monument shows principles that the Pilgrims believed in, and also that it could be used for a roadmap to maintain our country's liberty. It was commissioned by the Pilgrims Society, and it was designed by Hammett Billings as a tribute to the Pilgrims. Why do we build monuments? We build monuments so that future generations can see important things to their ancestors. Patrick Brown, in his article Overlooked Colossus, talks about the inscription that's on the monument. It says, "Erected by a grateful people in remembrance of their labors, sacrifices, and sufferings for the cause of civil and religious freedom." Then James O'Gorman, in his article, The Colossus of Plymouth, says this monument was built after the Civil War during a time of reunification and was built to remind the North and the South that they had common heritage. In the movie Monumental, produced by Kirk Cameron, he talks about the figures and the purpose of the monument. And I'm going to show that to you. We have this monument in solid granite, and it's the largest granite monument in the world. You see a man here, so it's very, very large. The first figure is faith. Faith is the most important principle. You see how large she is? And she has the Bible under one arm, and her other arm's pointed towards heaven, and she has a star on her forehead representing wisdom. This next figure is a figure of morality. She's holding the 10 Commandments and a scroll of Revelations. The next figure is law, and he's holding the law. He also has his hand extended in mercy. The next figure is education. She's sitting in victory with her laurel crown, and she has the book of knowledge. Lastly, we have the liberty man. He is a free man, and he's a soldier, and he's overcome tyranny. Now, the purpose of this monument is to teach future generations on how they can maintain our liberty. Now, I want to show you how this monument's to be read like a road map. It starts with faith. Faith should be the most important principle in our lives. And once we have faith, we can go down to morality. She has a love of God, and this love of God creates character in her, or an internal morality. And then after that is completed, then we can express in external ways our laws, and these are civil laws. And then after that we have education, and education represents that parents and grandparents should teach their children about liberty. And lastly, we have the Liberty Man. The Liberty Man represents several things. He represents Christ freeing his people and maintaining free agency. He has a sword, so he represents the American soldier, and if need be, he can go to war or battle for freedom. He also represents the Second Amendment, that men have the right to preserve their own liberty. The documents I found on a site of Massachusetts history shows some documents from the Pilgrim Society from 1872. It showed the importance of the placement of the monument, and also it had a speech by the governor of Massachusetts. In the documents, there's a quote that says, "Like a toil-worn mariner approaching home shall look hither and view it reaching towards the clouds, he may also see an inscription for a motive for action." And the speech that the governor gave said, "It is for our instruction to remind our children and our children's children that our life is their life, that out of their, the pilgrims, trials and sorrow, we pluck prosperity and happiness, and from their oppression spring our freedom. Well, as you can see now, you know the secret of the National Monument to the Forefathers. And we need to teach our children about these principles. And if they follow these principles, they can maintain their liberty. I have some time for a couple questions.
Okay, my first question is, why don't people know about the National Monument to the Forefathers?
Well, basically because it's hidden. Over time, the trees have grown up, and so you can't see it from town at all. It's said the National Monument, but it's actually owned by the state of Massachusetts, and it's not in very good condition.
Okay, and do you think that maintaining the National Monument to the Forefathers by the federal government would be in violation of separation of church and state due to the religious nature of the monument?
Well, if there's anybody who understood about state and church, it was the Pilgrims. They had just left England, where they were required to be a member of the Church of England and persecuted if they weren't. They came here for the freedom of religion, not from the freedom from religion. And so I really think that this monument's an important part of our history. I think we need to maybe have the federal government fund this monument because it's of our country's history.